That's to wait a few more things.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board for Thursday, April 14th, 2022. Let the record reflect that we have a full slate of board members tonight, and the meeting was properly advertised. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item tonight is the approval of our minutes from the March 23rd meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes, and if so, any questions, corrections, or discussion? Not, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve minutes from March 23rd, 2022.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Bill to approve the minutes from the March 23rd, 2022 meeting. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I would vote, I would
Jim will abstain?
abstain.
Yep, Jim's abstaining because he was not present for that meeting. That motion carries. All right, next item, action item as well as House Bill 10-02. Something you're reading for us tonight, Jeff? Or is that?
Well, I think we have thank you. May have a variety of people presenting on this issue. I thought the first one we would tackle, I think, agenda-wise, is Resolution 2022-01. I'm happy to read that. Scott Miller from Baker Tilly is here also to answer any questions. But this deals with the elimination of the utility receipts tax, as we have discussed before. The result of this is the will of the board to pass both of these resolutions. They will have corresponding ordinances that would go to the city council recommending a repeal of that utility receipts tax. That having been said, Resolution 2022-01 reads as follows. Whereas the City of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates through its utility service board a municipal electric utility known as Lebanon Utilities for the purpose of providing safe, reliable, and efficient electric utility services in and around the city pursuant to Indiana Code 8-1.5. Whereas on March 15th, 2022, the Indiana General Assembly passed House Bill 1002, effective July 1st, 2022, which is codified in part at Indiana Code 8124.2. Whereas House Bill 1002 provides that all utility receipts tax and utility service use tax shall be repealed. And whereas a rate adjustment is required by House Bill 1002, and whereas a rate adjustment is subject to the Common Council for the City of Lebanon and the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission approval, and whereas House Bill 1002 provides that not later than May 1st, a utility shall file a tariff with the IURC, a rate adjustment request that adjusts utilities, rates, and charges to reflect the repeal of the utility receipts tax, independent of any other matters related to the utilities revenue requirement. And whereas the rate sheet attached as Exhibit A contains language setting forth the revised rates in compliance with House Bill 1002 and replacing Exhibit A of Ordinance 2012-11. And whereas, based on the foregoing, the board recommends to the City Council that it adopt an ordinance approving this resolution in accordance with House Bill 1002 to become effective on the next full customer billing cycle following City Council and IURC approval, or July 1st, whichever is later. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lebanon Utility Service Board recommends to the Common Council of the City of Lebanon, Indiana, that the utilities proposed rate sheet and ordinance attached to this resolution as Exhibit A be approved, and be it further resolved that said recommendation, a copy of this resolution shall be delivered to the mayor of the city of Lebanon for distribution and discussion by the Common Council of the city of Lebanon. Adopted by the City of Lebanon Utility Service Board this 14th day of April 2022.
Say, Jeff, do you know if city council can pass a resolution on first reading?
I believe in this instance that it is they would have to take measures to waive a second reading, but by.
Okay. So we'll need to encourage them to do that to meet the May 1 deadline.
Correct.
When we present to them at their meeting, correct?
Correct.
Seen them do that before. They ask the council for a vote to suspend rules.
They'll do it. They'll expend the rules.
All right, any questions for Jeff on this particular portion? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve resolution number 2022-01.
Second.
Motion made by Bill and seconded by Tim to approve Resolution 2022-01, approval of a schedule of rates and charges by the City of Lebanon Municipal Electric Utility. Additional questions, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Second part here, Jeff?
Yeah, same discussion applies. Just some background. This is for the water utility. This is Resolution 2022-02. You'll note the difference in this is that the water utility is not subject to the IURC jurisdiction and therefore does not need to go through that process in front of the IURC. Whereas the City of Lebanon and the Lebanon Utility Service Board operates a waterworks system for the purposes of providing safe, reliable, and efficient potable water for the city. Whereas on March 15, 2022, the Indiana General Assembly passed House Bill 1002, effective July 2022, which is codified in part at Indiana Code 8124.2. Whereas House Bill 1002 provides that all utility receipts tax and utility service use tax shall be repealed. And whereas a rate adjustment is required by House Bill 1002, and whereas a rate adjustment is subject to the Common Council for the City of Lebanon approval, and whereas based upon the foregoing, the board recommends to the Common Council that it adopt an ordinance approving this resolution in accordance with House Bill 1002, amending ordinance 2018-06. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lebanon Utility Service Board recommends to the Common Council of the City of Lebanon the following proposed schedule of water rate and charges to become effective on the next full customer billing cycle following City Council approval or July 1st, 2022, whichever is later. And then the following sets out our amended rates with the removal of the utility tax.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Questions on this water portion?
Has the staff determined how to meet the notification requirement yet of the reduction?
So we have looked at several different ways. The one thing we have found out in the last couple of weeks is we do believe our system is capable of showing that on the bill for electric, but we don't know how to tackle that yet on the tracker part of the calculation. So there's been a lot of discussion on how we've had to do it. We've seen stuff from IMPA. We have not come up with a final determination of how that will be done at this time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I might add is Commissioner Smith and Sandra and I both went to the IMPA meeting where they discussed this briefly, and one of the suggestions they had was doing a bill insert, and that might meet our requirement. We're not sure, so.
And that bill insert also could refer to a percent reduction rather than a calculated reduction, perhaps?
Yeah, we thought about perhaps putting in like a schedule of here's what different bills look like, and then here's what the reduction would be. And just for you guys, I guess, Ed had asked me, hey Sandra, what would this look like on an average customer? So I went in and looked at my bill this last month, and I recalculated it under the old rates versus the new rates, and it's about a $3.36 difference for me that it would reduce my bill by.
Sandra, do we have a notes section on our statements that we can add different things in?
Yes, we have a notes section at the bottom that we can add a note in that has been reduced by the utility receipts tax. The issue is depending on the way you read it, it says it must include the amount. So that's where we're struggling. We don't know how to get the amount down in the note, but potentially we'll be able to get it to show up as a line item on the bill, or we would do a bill stuffer or something on our website showing a schedule and showing about what that reduction would be.
But percentage-wise, could be included, a percent could be included in the note, or would it be something to say the average bill by this percent, something to show
Yes.
our intent and effort?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I think that, the information we got from IMPA seems to imply or indicate that you can do either adjustment has to be noticed in dollars or simply a percentage reduction. So from your staff standpoint, I would hope that you'd feel comfortable going the percentage route.
Well, and there's where I'm going to rely on Baker Tilly a little bit. On electric, I think that's going to be hard. On water, every section is a little bit different of a percentage based on the way those were calculated. So putting in a flat percentage for the water would be very difficult. Do you agree?
I think,
Put an average percent maybe?
yeah, I think we can get close to what an average percentage would be on a system-wide basis. Yeah.
So
And
an average-
that might be satisfactory.
The language is, there's no language that describes how that notice, what format it should take. So I think everybody across the state is going to be in the position of trying to do the best that they can to comply. So I think if you've made a good faith effort to comply and it meets what you think legal counsel says it should meet, then I think you've done the best you can do.
Thank you.
Anything else for Sandra or Jeff on this particular resolution? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2022-02, approval of a schedule of rates and charges by the City of Lebanon Municipal Water Utility.
I second that motion.
Motion made by Aaron, seconded by Jim to approve Resolution 2022-02, approval of a schedule of rates and charges by the City of Lebanon Municipal Water Utility. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, everyone. Next action item tonight is the Osmose pole inspection. Our electric operations manager, Jeff Greeno, is on the podium. Hey, Jeff.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a approval request to have Osmose perform the 2022 pole inspections for Lebanon Utilities. As the board remembers, Lebanon Utilities put out a RFP earlier in the year, and Osmose was chosen to be Lebanon Utilities wood pole inspection company. This project will be done in steps per year until all the poles in Lebanon Utilities distribution system has been inspected. This year, Lebanon Utilities budgeted $45,000 for wood pole inspections, and that should cover around 700 to 1,000 poles. I do want to make note that this project is in the 2022 budget under contractual services and testing. So I would like to ask the board to approve the 2022 pole testing to be done by Osmose with the not-to-exceed amount of $45,000 and have General Manager Ed Baskell sign all documents.
Right, thank you, Jeff. Without getting into too many details, and just kind of for public knowledge, when they're inspecting these poles, we will essentially get back kind of a grade or rating for every pole they inspect, and then we will act on each of those grades, if you will, depending on the condition of the pole?
Yes, that's correct. We will put out notice on social media and the website, let people know so they're out there. They'll have company logo magnets on their trucks so people will know who they are, so there won't be no discrepancies. We get reports back from Osmose if the pole needs to be replaced or if they had to do special treatments to it. And that's on a program that we get called Osmose 360.
So Jeff, when we do this process, are we going oldest to youngest then? We start, with our oldest poles, go through those, and then just cycle through that way?
What we're doing is where we left, we're just taking off where we left off at the last pole inspections.
Okay.
Just kind of making through the quarter sections of the town.
Okay. How do we notify folks when there are poles in their backyard?
How do we notify them? They should go up and knock on their doors
Okay.
before they enter their property, which they shouldn't be.
Should be on the easement.
Should be an easement
Should
in
be
right of
on
way.
the easement, but there are places where fences have gotten built around poles.
Okay.
So Jeff, I'm trying to remember, the best practice is to inspect a pole every 7 years, or what?
It's a 10-year cycle.
10-year, okay. So we plan, it's going to take us 4 or 5 years to inspect all our poles?
I would say that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Then they'll just start again.
We will have a 3 or 4 year break, right? Okay.
We'll have bigger numbers next time we start.
Right, anything else on the pole inspections? If not, I entertain a motion.
I move to approve the 2022 pole testing to be done by Osmose with a not-to-exceed amount of $45,000 and have Ed Baskell sign all documents.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Bill, to approve the 2022 pole testing to be done by Osmose with a not-to-exceed amount of $45,000, with our general manager, Ed Baskell, signing the documents. Anything else for Jeff? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Jeff. It looks like you're staying up for the next item, which is the surplus property. It looks like a chipper.
Yes, I'd like to ask the board to declare surplus property of a piece of equipment. It is a 2002 Brush Bandit chipper, model 250. This is a piece of equipment that is no longer used. Because we believe the value to be in excess of $5,000, we will follow the Indiana Code 5-22-22 in the disposition of the property. So I would just like to ask the board to declare the 2002 Brush Bandit chipper as surplus property and allow electric department to sell the item in accordance with Indiana Code 5-22-22 provisions.
So are you going to go out, IC 522-22 puts it out for bid, so that's what you're going to do?
There were several different options I need to discuss with legal, and if we have to set it out for bids, or if we can follow one of these other guidelines in the provisions of 522.
You can't just go out and sell it to somebody for $5,000.
No, I don't believe so.
Hey, Jeff, is this something we ever check with the city or the Parks Department to see if they need equipment like this?
It's been to both of them.
It's,
Okay. Answers that.
It's
Been through the ringer.
I have a
I've
quick,
worked department for a long time.
Okay.
Finally got this long.
That answers that.
I have a question for Jeff Jacobs. So if I read the statute right, it requires a public sale or by sealed bids. Is that correct?
Correct. So that typically permits where we would do some sort of sealed bid process. We've done a few items that way. We've done some transformers, which was a big sale, and I believe that that's how we handled the bulk of our electric inventory when we switched from, switched to annexed handling. And if I recall, Aaron, I apologize, I believe we could also use an internet auction site or even a reverse auction. I don't know that we've done the reverse auction. It would be like an eBay type process. But Jeff and I will work through a compliant method that we believe that fits this piece of
And
equipment.
you have to advertise the sale, correct?
Oh,
You do have to
absolutely.
do that.
Yeah, you've got to publish notice. I always encourage staff to put that on the website, and then there's standard publication requirements that we have to follow, which we will.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for Jeff on the chipper? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the surplus property of the chipper. Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Jim to approve declaring the 2002 Brush Bandit chipper as a surplus property and allow the electric department to sell the item in accordance with IC 5-22-22 provisions. Anything else for Jeff? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Next item tonight is the approval of our claims, payroll, and transfers. Are there any questions or discussion on these items? Not, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we move to approve claims payroll transfers dated April the 14th, 2022, in the amount of $2,278,318.66 for claims, and payroll, and $6,799,179.67 for transfers.
second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to approve the claims, payrolls, and transfers dated April 14th, 2022. Any additional discussion on these items? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item is any other business. Anyone on the board have any business tonight they want to discuss or bring up?
I thank General Manager Ed Basquill and our CFO Sandra Morgan for inviting me to the Indiana Municipal Power Agency annual meeting on April the 1st. Got information during that meeting about 1002, which we addressed this evening. Got an update about the status of IMPA and its plans for the future. Had a public power update from the president and CEO of the American Public Power Association. That was very informative. And then there was a informative discussion on how to go carbon neutral and the challenges that face us today in doing that. Did make note that by 2026, IMPA hopes to be 46% green power. So I learned a lot about IMPA and how they operate and their history and their plans for the future. And thank you again. It was very informative and I enjoyed it.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Anyone else have anything? Any public comment tonight? We don't have any public in attendance. Anything come to your desk, Ed?
No, sir.
All right. Looks like we're meeting on the 20th of April at 5 p.m. next time. Anyone have anything else before we adjourn? entertain a motion for that.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.